As we kind of progress further here, we have another new enemy, the Carbonite War Droid. So you can see as Chris tries to attack him, he doesn't do much damage, you know, as long as the guy has his shield. But once you kind of figure out the tactic here and you just kind of rip the shield out of his hands, then you can expose him, and then you can use your arsenal of attacks to take him out a lot quicker. As you can see, there's a Stormtrooper trapped in Carbonite, so you can actually use the War Droid's Carbonite weaponry to your advantage if you can get enemies in your way. A very good tactic for these guys is to hit them with lightning, stay as far away as possible, and then maybe hit them with a couple of saber strikes. Now what we have here is kind of like a mini quick time finisher, just to add more cinematic flair to some of our larger enemies. And you'll encounter a number of these throughout the game as you progress. And then, of course, we're going to have big epic boss battles, which will be even more over the top and even more spectacular. Again, just a little resistance as Chris makes his way into the plaza area of Camino. And again, you're on high. The station is on high alert, and basically Starkiller just has to make his way through any number of enemies that come his way. As you can see, Chris can, as he picks up, he can throw enemies into the environment. And actually this time around, as you kind of break things within the environment, you'll get experience points, force points is what we're calling them, to rank up your force powers. So as you learn force powers, we're actually this time around giving the gamer the freedom to rank up those force powers as quickly as possible. You see there's a little number value there near the HUD, and those are your force points. And then you can go into a special menu again and unlock, as you unlock force powers, you can rank them up to make yourself a more powerful force user. And to go back to the point about the new and various enemies, what we really wanted to do is that we've created all this great content, all these great combos and great force powers. And one of the things that gamers were unhappy about was that they could go through the first game using one attack, maybe one force power. This time we want them to mix up their force powers, mix up their attacks, and we expose that in many different ways. You know, again, by making, you know, certain enemies resistance probably to, you know, to some force powers, or resistant to saber attacks. Again, a nice little air juggle, a little force push, totally interactive environment. And you'll notice as we kind of get through this environment, you know, Stormtroopers actually take cover behind the various crates, and you know, it actually doesn't provide too much cover for long, because Starkiller is a very powerful force user. Now, as we're going to see here, we've got jump troopers which have made their return. As you can see, you know, Chris is trying to take them out with lightsaber strikes, but what really does the trick is a nice lightning strike. And that's another kind of added layer to the enemies. You can see like their jetpacks come on fire. They kind of malfunction and fly kind of crazily throughout the environment. You never know what they're going to do. It's pretty immersive. They could come back and take out enemies that happen to be on certain platforms, or they might come right back to you and give you a little shot. So once again, as Chris coolly makes his way through the environment, we're coming up against another Carbonite War Droid. Again, kind of a tutorial level. In this particular one, it's kind of teaching you to use the lock-on technique. That way, if you have one particular enemy that you want to focus on, you can do that by targeting that enemy and hitting the left button for the Xbox. It makes it a little bit easier to deal with these guys. You can do dashes around them, be a little bit more nimble, you know, avoid his strikes. And you can actually stun these guys. And, you know, that Carbonite War Droid, he might just walk all over him. As you can see there, Chris actually got frozen by Carbonite. And, you know, you're going to have to jam on the button really quickly to get out of that state. Otherwise, you know, if you get hit by a random blaster bolt or maybe a well-timed charge by that huge enemy, you know, he might take you out right quick. Again, the cinematic finisher, kind of using his own weapon against him. Nice, powerful force push to kind of finish it off. Now we're going to get into another new gameplay segment, just like the dive for the Force Unleashed. It's almost like a little mini run for your life. So again, you know, guys are on high alert trying to track you down. We got a huge troop transport, and you basically just have to get out of the way. You know, don't worry about the troops, just a mad dash to the finish. And we're actually almost to the conclusion here, but there's still a couple more obstacles in our way. like this huge tower. Don't know how we're going to deal with that. Oh, and there you got other guys waiting on the other side. A nice little well-timed, well-placed TIE Advanced there. I think that's Vader's ride. So another new mechanic we have, you can actually grip and force crush TIE fighters and then use them against environmental set pieces to kind of, you know, again, we want you to use your force powers and we want you to kind of interact really well with the environment. And these set pieces, we set them up, crush the TIE fighters, and as you can see, you can bring down the tower that makes a nice little bridge for you to kind of run across there and get to the next wave of enemies and hopefully make your final escape. So a little precarious dash run here. Another new power, actually it's not really a power, it's more of a reimagining of all your force powers is Force Fury. So as you defeat enemies, you're going to have to see the little HUD element down there. It's going to fill up with power, and over time, you know, you'll be able to fill it up completely to where you can become this super energized, extremely powerful force user. So you can see Starkiller at this point, he can grip crush, you know, huge ATSTs. He can lightning ATSTs. You can essentially do things to enemies that you couldn't do even if you were fully ranked up with all your force powers. So it's just, you know, again, it's that great visceral kind of visual payoff, and again, just making you feel like that badass Jedi. So as you can see, his melee attack kind of becomes a little mini ranged attack. His combos are going to be more devastating. Lightning is going to completely disintegrate your enemies, as well as Force Repulse, just complete annihilation. And there you have it. That's Kamino, Force Unleashed 2.